Welcome back to our Terra Sentia campaign. We have just taken a break and socialized to the nth degree, and now we are back to the Connor machine.
Hit us with your Ferg shot.
Nice.
Oh my god, Ferg shot? That's disgusting.
Only if you want it to be.
Okay, that's great. So we were just kind of talking about what Ferg was doing in the next 5 years. Definitely connecting with the kids. I think we ended on sparring off with Zeph and getting your hand locked down by this very enigmatic dagger that he has strapped to his back. Yeah, that you've never seen him wield it.
Yeah. So I'm hoping somewhere in this 5 years, Ferg learns at least some bit of listening. The other thing that I was really interested in is whether we can either save the red pencil and the iron tome, or without having to scrub it down and clean it every day, because that's gonna. You've got to take care of your weapons, but, doing a deep clean like that every day is going to get real quick.
And, unfortunately, it is an everyday thing.
Yeah.
Is there a way to, enchant it like my sword's enchanted?
Well,
I have 100 symbiotic uses for everyday fungus in the Kashar, from healing needs to respectful rituals. I have this book.
I would unfortunately say that there's 100 everyday needs doesn't encompass what you would have to have in order for it to be solidly enchanted.
So I'm going to let somebody else work on that while still taking care of them every day.
Okay.
But the other thing I want to do is learn. Have you seen what I forget the name in Waddle, but what Aztec swords look like with the obsidian blades around them?
Yeah, they're almost like they almost have teeth.
Yeah. So I would like to, hanging out with the warriors, like to learn flint napping, so I can eventually make something very similar to that, but get a 6 foot long branch of ironwood and line it on one side with obsidian blades and put a big old rock weight on the end so that it still has the same heft and balance as the red pencil, which I'm very used to, but is going to survive in the Kashar.
Right.
You have a Final Fantasy weapon.
Yeah. It's always been a Final Fantasy weapon.
I know. I just realized it right now when you described it. I was like, you have a fucking Final Fantasy. I pictured you with the over your shoulder pose,
Yeah.
Just fucking.
Or also,
that was
a callback to the Pathfinder Barbarian. Do you remember the art?
Yes, that's amazing.
Always been taller than.
Oh yeah, basically Berserker.
The great sword is just
you have Cloud Sword,
Except it's only sharp on one side and has a weight on the end.
Okay, and the way I always imagine it is the legit paper cutter,
That's what it is.
Okay, that's what I always imagine is
but a big one.
But it's
paper cutter.
It's 6 feet long and has a 100-pound counterweight on the end, so that when you're lifting it up and down, it feels like nothing.
Okay. I also imagine sometimes you would smack someone by heaving around the counterweight part and smacking them.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I've been imagining it right now.
17th Street.
It's definitely a multi-purpose. It's not just a blade.
Can we slice paper?
Yeah.
Also,
No, because paper cutter is a pair of scissors.
Damn it.
So this is only one half of a pair of scissors.
Yeah.
So we have to find another one of you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
The irony.
So Okay, so you're going to look into seeing if your blade can somehow be enchanted to the point where you wouldn't have to like fastidiously maintain it every day, because that you don't think Ferg could.
No, Ferg totally could, but like as we're starting, like if we have to leave and travel, like. Nobody's gonna want to wait an hour every morning while Ferg is like scrubbing this thing down with sand. Like, sometimes you just gotta get up and go.
That's
and Ferg,
very true.
Ferg would like something that is also just get up and go, while other people are looking into enchanting the red pencil. So I thought practically learn how to make obsidian blades and embed them in a piece of wood.
So you met an orc that is not only a mushroom expert, but kind of the de facto sort of person in charge of keeping all of the Blackfang written materials kind of in good condition.
Yeah. It totally helps.
Semi-organized, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You
would make very good friends.
You and he, and that's exactly where I was going with that. Is that, and you know that Gopnik is actually working very closely and has become very fast friends as well with Feyren, and Feyren's been sort of tapping him as a source of knowledge. This is the person you said you would imagine yourself
apprenticing for,
yes. And becoming friends and
Gopnik?
that kind of thing. Yeah, Gopnik, Gopnik. And
I put a K.
Actually, it is a K. I just said C because I'm an idiot, so I apparently can't read.
I would have said C.
I cannot.
You think you're better than me?
That's fair, but no. This escalated quickly. Okay, so you become friends with Gopnik, and
what's his designation in town?
He would be
village persons.
I said mycologist and lorist.
Okay. Yeah.
You guys don't even need me.
Mycolorist?
Yeah.
Mycolorist.
He's not a Kesha.
Mycolorist.
And
also, we need to start using that more often.
Kesha?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he shows you where these a lot of these kind of scrolls and basically the catalog of knowledge that they have, and when he shows you them, you almost puke in disgust of how disorganized this is, and honestly, it's reminding you of like a way more intense version of when you ran into the waypost a while back and found that there's sort of like a knowledge hut, essentially, a veritable library, but it was just like in disarray completely. And this is not as bad, but there's more of it, and so it needs to be organized more.
Oh yeah, Ferg would totally trade organization and repair.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I know how to do this. Also, do you know about book spawn? Let me teach you about spawn and making kite.
Yeah, and so and here's the thing: a lot of the orcs like know how to do all these things that you know how to do, but you happen to be that much more of an expert, and your OCD just like totally takes over. So yeah, I will just kind of leave you with that in that it kind of becomes like one of your jobs over the next like year of like maintaining and organizing and that kind of thing, their sources of knowledge. And now I want to move over to time. Hi. Where are you? When are you?
Oh, God.
Okay.
So that's actually a really interesting thing in that the Kashar Forest is like a weird time nexus. And that's what TYM time has like decided is sort of blocking us from like leaving, blocking like magic and connections with siblings and communications from exiting, is that like we're sort of in this maelstrom of time. Like everything is sort of wrapped in on itself here, and there's and it's being done by something, right? The mycelium, whatever. She's not sure about that,
right?
But like there's an element that at least part of that is affecting also time. So for her, like the myriad branching pathways that are out and ahead are not like are extra nonlinear. They wrap upon themselves. It is very like difficult for her to sort through even more of the past, because it's like, you know, instead of wandering somewhere and seeing like 4 branches of your potential future, right? It's like those branches mixed with wrappings back around of like those choices coming to that same location, branching again, and it gets very complex very quickly unless she's focused.
Yeah, complex, convoluted. I can see that.
Yeah. So, so on things that she is doing, got a lot. Time is like very focused on a lot of things in this place, but I mean,
you want to start with the items?
Yes. Actually, I mean, quickly want to start because it was kind of like tagged with everybody else, though. Okay. Is time is definitely in on that like listening element. And in that wants to spend time learning Orcish, because she is going to be dealing with a lot of like, she's smart, she's really smart, she's listening, she already knows Gnomish, which is like connected, and there's a lot of shared words.
Yeah.
She wants to kind of just like, as she's working with people and studying stuff and connecting and playing games with Keth, is like just kind of like learning to listen and also learning to like pick up the language over time.
Right.
You're like being so immersed in it, she's just going to be picking it up.
And this is a good segue. So now that everyone's gone kind of in a circle and expressed a desire to learn the listening ways. Mm-hmm. So Keth, you know that it's highly unlikely that the mycelium would ever choose anyone non-orc. There's not necessarily a rhyme or a reason that even your people could fully explain as to why that is.
But haven't they already chose my friends?
The orcs have.
The mycelium kind of did too. I mean, they shoved themselves down our throats.
And then bad things happened.
Yes, and then really bad things happened.
So you know, long story short is that there is a certain teaching that is involved, and then there is a very, very specific ritual that involves like heavy duty ego dissolution, mind altering, mind bending trip. And so so first, before I get into the role of it, I want to know what is your wisdom, Ferg?
Wisdom 12.
Is your wisdom
14?
What is your wisdom?
Goodish 16.
Okay, so
wait. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So essentially, I would like all of you to roll a d20.
Even me?
Nope. You already know how to listen.
Can I give them all advantage with my love?
Can I use my quirk ability on it?
Cannot.
Okay, I figured.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep this though for a minute.
Yeah.
Just roll it.
Just roll it.
That's not bad.
Are we adding bonuses or just straight?
Just give me the number.
9.
2.
17.
You all come out the other end, and while you can describe what you personally get out of the journey, but unfortunately, no one is able to connect to the forest on the same level as the Orcish people, especially Keth. Yeah. There's and more now than ever, you're starting to think that there's something about the Orcish people. There's some kind of a boon that perhaps the mycelium sort of grants to the Orcish people that they don't grant to just anybody. Mm-hmm. I mean, who's to say it's impossible? Which is why we rolled.
You earned our respect. Maybe you can.
Well, like too. we got time. Maybe if we stay here for a really long time, maybe we'll like.
Berg really connected with Hugin and Moonin though, and was like, "Oh, now I understand this whole idea of thought and memory."
Oh, that's fun.
Does
I like that.
Ren have any more experiences like he did with the Cantharella tribe in 5 years? Or was that like a one time gig?
Good question. We'll get to that when we come back to you.
Okay.
But yeah, keep that in the forefront.
Mm-hmm. At some point, Time walks up to Ferg, and throughout all of this, has like, so it was requested two things, like, or not two things, but like, she's kind of like looked at you, and like, you've had some conversations. She keeps coming back to like that time we were fighting the like mushroom infected whatever's running at us. Right, and was like, you took
the brambles.
Yeah,
yeah.
Took many wounds to protect the rest of us.
Yeah, y'all are squishy.
Yeah, I don't need you to fall. And she like grab this accurately. So I've basically going meta for a moment at OOC. Time has been looking, or I've been looking to like create magical items for everybody, because one is a way I love to like creatively gift through imagination with friends, but also like, we've got a lot of downtime here, but like I've been restricting myself, one, to like the level of items I can actually do, but also nothing that has metal involved in it, since we're here in the Kashar. Even though like there might be some magical caveats for it, it's still like, where am I getting this, what would I do? So in terms of the craft, like I've been using that as like a shaping sort of element, and some of these might be like a little altered, like it'll be still sort of the element, but like maybe on like a leather chain or something like that, as opposed to, but certainly some things that are like gauntlets of, I'm like, well, now they're all metal, I'm not gonna be able to use that for right, that doesn't make sense. So Farrig, like, she kind of pulls out this stone like that she's been kind of like working with the alchemist, and has like learned some of the like the orcish like iconography and whatnot, and as she's been like learning the language of it, and the stone has like this sort of spiraling but stylized like anatomical heart on it over the surface that is like sort of etched. Even in fact, like the stone itself is sort of like a chiseled like heart shape of stone. And it's on a leather thong, right? And she like puts it around your neck, and it is a basically an amulet or a periapt of a wound closure for you. So that should get you. You are automatically stabilized if you are if you're dying at the start of the turn, right? In addition, whenever you roll a hit die to regain hit points, you double the number of hit points it restores.
On a short rest, right?
It just says whenever you roll hit dice. I guess that's going to be short rest, since there's something else that causes that.
Totally.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Cool. When else do you roll hit dice?
Yeah. There's something that item doesn't cover that I just want to be clear on. So when you get dropped, you auto stabilize. Mm-hmm. However, if there's someone around you that is still like attacking you while you're down, you will take failures on your death saves.
Yeah.
You just can't get any further unless someone attacks you.
Yeah.
So it's just really, really hard to kill you. So I just wanted to be very clear on that, just for in the future, like if something happens, you're like, wait, that's not. Yeah. So
I mean, we're not gonna let you drop.
That's just a thing that I've thought about a lot with that item for whatever reason.
That makes sense. The downside of it is like, it also means you can't possibly like pop back up into battle with a 20, but it's still cool.
Oh man, I need a new character.
I didn't bring those this week. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
And so in similar effect, like there's a time at that point, for where like time is like going through her bag in front of you and kind of like pulling this out. You also sort of notice this like agate that she's got in her bag, which functionally is like a stone of good luck that she sort of made for herself, which is really like it's a worry stone. So for time, just being like, we're just focusing on like rubbing this thing down.
And I will say that in this this gift giving little thing that you go through, that's I would say that's probably maybe the first time that you spot Ferg's maybe like freshly wounded, bandaged hand after this ordeal that he had with the tribal champion. But I won't assume that you know much about it.
Mm-hmm. She does stop though, because like she's talking about like wounds and like looks at your hand and she goes, I have those wounds.
I have no. How did you end up with my wounds?
think you ended up with my wounds. She has like a moment of clarity, and he's like,
and you know, like... and of course you remember the dagger that was strapped to the tribal champion's back, but you may have, I don't know, you may have just assumed that was a vision.
Yeah. So is this? I mean, I'm also remembering bits of my backstory now that maybe I haven't even thought about for a while. Is this connected back to that sort of item from my childhood?
Well, the dagger that you've been seeing all throughout your visions in the last, like, you know, I would say like 6 months prior to being in the Kashar, and then the dagger that you saw, in fact, on the tribal champion strapped to his back.
Yeah.
That's the exact same dagger. All of those, that's the exact same dagger that you, as a child, grabbed onto.
Yeah.
That dagger that you know as a dwarven relic. And that dagger, you know, your parents had some kind of hand in either trading or selling or that kind of thing, because that's their family business. That's what they do. Sorry, I have like...
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so I mean, like, I want to finish handing out items, but like that is absolutely one thing. Like, I want to investigate. I kind of forgot about when we were thinking about this. Was like, more of that. Especially now, I'm like, oh yeah, back in history. So at one point, time comes up to you, and kind of like uncharacteristically shyly about it.
You do notice the very, very, very fancy leather armor that Feyren's now wearing.
It's very supple. Baby dragon skin.
Oh, it looks sentient. Like it used to be sentient. Lovely.
Armor made out of dragon placenta.
Oh,
so good.
It sounds really nice, actually.
Tasty.
Yeah, I mean placenta. It's probably good for the pores.
Yeah, good for your hair.
There's actually like so time kind of like shows up in like your room, your cabin, something like that. Yep, you're whistling from the closet, and kind of like she's a little bit flustered, and kind of just goes over and like puts this package on your bed, and then like leaves. Kind of like, but actually not even that. Like she didn't even put it in the bed. Like she kind of like puts it in a place that just seems logical. Like this is where you would store it, right? Like
while I'm there watching her.
Yeah, like, just here.
On a weird like dresser that I don't know, just reminds you just real quickly, probably nothing of like I don't know, a coffin.
Yeah, this makes sense.
Walk over and check it out.
Did we not tell them about Burgess? I just want to know. This
No,
up to
you did not.
No.
Okay.
We're 11ing this. It's fine.
Even they told their friends. God, guys. I brought waffles.
There's this misty dresser, but it's probably nothing.
Well, and to be fair, like
saving Burgess.
Ren,
Nice.
like, isn't gonna sweat it. Like, does what needs to be done.
Right.
Doesn't come up. Not really worried about telling time because time's
I probably know it eventually,
like,
or will know it
on
always.
some level
Time
or
is just a
something.
concept. Who needs
Right.
to tell it?
Anyway, I go over and open your package. What is it?
So they are these like pair of gloves that look incredibly soft. Like it's kind of also
Like baby dragon skin?
oddly enough looks very similar in coloring to the rest of your outfit, almost as if time knew. But they're like the softest, most supple leather that is just like amazingly flexible. Do you put them on?
Fuck yeah.
Good. So as you put them on, you notice that like the feel.
I mean, I trust you.
No. So one, it fits your hand creepily well, like both of your hands. Like it is like everything was perfectly measured, like all of the muscles and everything, and it like flexes with you very well and feels ultimately flexible. As you kind of like splay out your hands at some point, you notice that there's like a light webbing between the fingers.
Are these like magical climbing gloves?
Oh, it gets better.
And like the fingertips are like have if you kind of look close, like these very like micro ridges that are on them, and as you kind of like move your hand in certain moments, you feel them like as you move your fingers in certain positions, you feel the like the supple, soft nature of the gloves like lock up in an interesting way that supports your grip.
Yes.
And basically they're gloves of climbing and swimming. And so they give you a +5 to your athletics checks when it comes to climbing and swimming. So you can get mushrooms better.
And can I add just one thing just from your climbing experience? Is that
because I have no strength.
The palms of them just feel just a little bit chalky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. What was that?
What was the stone that you gave me?
So it's like a necklace. It's a Periat of wound closure.
Yeah. Didn't you give me something else though?
I think that was all. I was talking about like a thing that you saw. Like I was using that as a way to describe the thing I gave myself, but without
okay,
just being self-serving currently.
Cool. No, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You also notice I have like a wand on my hip. But
you also have this staff that you've been neglecting.
I want to ask about. I will. That's part of the process. I'm giving first before asking for myself.
It's
Connor.
So nice for you to think of these things, and it's very nice for you to let us have them.
It's within the rules.
To me, it's not. Yeah, to me, it's not a let you have them. It's if I am going to give you 5 years in the Kashar, and I'm going to actually like lay out like a lot of free time.
Yeah.
If Will's going to come to me and say, "Hey, I want to use an ability that my character can actually do that's in the rules," there's no way I can say no.
Why were you so awkward about leaving them for me? Because of that one time?
Because the moment we were going to have.
Oh.
Or did have.
We did track. Or we didn't already?
That's my question.
Oh.
I mean, I think it did. I'm just saying,
it
like, time doesn't
happened.
know. Do you want to describe that? But I'm going to do another item thing. You can ask about that.
Okay. This isn't about us right now.
Kat.
That's me.
So you've been like training out in the forest and whatnot.
Yeah.
And you're surprised, but also not surprised that time is just there one day, kind of like watching you. Like you maybe like you're in the midst of like bouncing off things like
I actually like
hitting
to you at one
the target
point, and
bit.
I'm like, so this is the day you show up and watch me train. Like as I'm still punching things
of many. But she goes over like and places these 2 slippers down next to your bag, like where like you've like left your stuff for like your training and your bits. Mm-hmm. And like come over, you investigate.
Yeah.
You're like, no, fuck it, I'm gonna go to training.
Yeah, sure. Walk up to you
and she's like, this will help with your training. You'll need these.
I slip them on.
So one similar to what I described, it's like even the soles of the slipper is kind of like molded to your foot, like it was made for your musculature.
Oh my God, did you make me Vibrams?
Sort of without the lame toes though. Do you want the toes? They can be toes. I actually thought about that, but I was like, I don't know how you feel about it.
I have Vibrams.
So they fit perfectly. And the outside is covered with a light like spider web texture. Like you see like the sort of patterning of it, and in fact it's like as you're kind of like standing there, they feel like you can kind of like flex your toes and you feel like they're a bit stickier. You kind of relax your feet and they kind of like let go. But I was like, go try them out.
I run up a tree.
You run up the tree.
Yes!
At full speed. Basically, like slippers of spider climb.
Hell yeah.
So you can just like run over surfaces and do what you need, and your hands are free.
Hell yes.
Oh,
that's like my level 9 ability, but I got it at level 3.
I thought about that. I was like, I'll give you like a little something in advance.
That's amazing.
All these are attunement items. The other thing about your gloves too is that
wait, did you say that again? All of these are attunement
pretty
items?
sure they're all attunement items.
Yeah, cool.
Period and all the things.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
A character can attune to up to 3 items that require attunement.
Yeah.
And so these items that Time is giving all of you require attunement. So the point is that if you ever, for example, get like a 4th item that requires attunement, you'll have to decide what if you're going to drop something to have that replace that.
Got it.
So certain other items don't require attunement, but they're pretty rare. Most magic items.
Yeah, all these do.
Need the attunement, the big A.
There's a lot that don't, actually, as I'm looking here, especially like weapons and armors and things. But
dude, that water bowl of summon elemental that Nick has doesn't require attunement. That is insanely powerful.
That is pretty crazy.
The only shitty thing is that if you break concentration on that, the elemental goes free and it attacks anyone. And that has sucked so many times.
Yeah. The other thing that I forgot to mention about your gloves, which is also really key, is that normally when you swim and climb, you're at half movement.
Yeah.
you're not at half movement when you use those gloves for it.
Oh.
Which is also kind of big.
Okay.
Like a lot.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So you climb basically at like twice the speed you normally would, and you're better at it.
When somebody's like, dare you to get to the top of that,
You're there.
like, what?
I
You're like waving. You're like, hi.
feel like it's also very sensitive to the thing that I'm sensitive about. Nice.
Well, I actually had a conversation with Connor about that. It was like, because one of the things I thought about making you, but we thought it would be like inappropriate in a lot of ways, was the hat of disguise that allows you to sort of like cover it up in a way, right? But it's like that didn't really feel like your style.
No.
Like, also didn't want to like just like, you know, hide this thing.
I'd also be like, cover up what?
Exactly. It was exactly.
What are you talking
I'd be like,
about?
what are you saying?
What do I need to cover up?
Yeah.
No
Just
answer on the
ignore
other
it.
side, and we're done here.
What's wrong with me, Ty?
Exactly.
So Bill, basically, for me, I've got that like stone of good luck. Which
What
is
does that do again?
That's a so it's like a ring of protection.
Yeah.
Which does like saves and AC. Ring of good luck is ability scores and saves.
Okay. So you made yourself 2?
I made that, and I made a like wand of the war mage. So just like a +1, like I'm just like it focuses for my attack rolls for things. So it allows me to sort of like focus my magic.
Wand of the War Mage, and then the Stone of Good Luck. Okay. Cool.
So that's done finito item level.
Right.
You want to describe a thing?
Okay.
I've got other stuff.
So when Farron gives me the gloves, it's definitely
You mean time?
time.
Yeah.
You're fair.
When I give myself my gloves.
Wrapped in time.
I'm so generous.
Wait,
to myself.
who gave who what?
When time gives me the gloves, it's definitely before this event that I'm speaking of by like a year.
Ooh, I like that.
Like but she's being real awkward as if we just banged it out. Because in a year, we have a moment. We all knew it was going to happen
I have a problem.
at some point.
Huh?
But essentially, we're off experimenting with this new mushroom that I found, which ends up being highly sensory and aphrodisiac in nature.
We're definitely under the stars, and I'm showing you astronomy things.
Yeah, and it's like nothing akin to real life ever.
Well, it also
Ecstasy.
yeah, right. Yeah.
Anyway,
It also amplifies how tangled the time in the forest is.
Right.
To me.
so like, I mean, I just thought it was great that you told that story about the gloves because you were definitely feeling awkward about that event that hasn't even happened for a year.
That makes sense.
So we have this like amazing night, and it's like just the best sex of your life, basically. And then later, time is like, oh, this doesn't happen yet. And Farron's like,
Bye.
oh shit. Okay, because he's like suddenly very much like, oh my god, I'm in love. We're in love. This is happening. We've been friends for years, but like this thing is happening, and like you know, I always thought she was hot, but like I didn't know we felt this way, but we feel this way. And then she's like, oh wait, this doesn't happen yet. Sorry, this is awkward. And then like she does like
We can't do this out of order.
she does like the time thing, and he's just like, really? Now?
I treat people as objects.
This moment? She's just like, yeah, this doesn't happen yet. No, you don't understand. This just hasn't, this hasn't happened yet.
It's supposed to be here.
Yeah.
I'm here right now.
Yeah. So, like, no offense.
With your hair beads.
Like, I know this
Yeah.
is, I know
I'm
this
pointing
is
to a
weird.
point where the hair is not even that long yet, or
But-
the rope isn't
yeah.
even that long yet.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and maybe Farron says something like, wait, like where exactly, where are we now? And like, you're like trying to explain it, and I'm like, oh God.
What did I do?
Is it
Yeah.
this?
Right.
She's a
But she'll-
nightmare hippie.
But she does have like a tender moment at some point where she's like, "Don't worry, we'll always be here and we'll be there. I'll see you there."
Okay. Awesome. And it's fine. It was just like,
one of those cinematic
like-
moments where you see like Feyren in his head, and maybe you do this,
yeah. I mean, he's just like,
and then it snaps
Like-
back to reality. Yeah, that's whatever.
it's like this is the person he's known for like forever, and like, of course, why would why would it be any different in this moment? Okay. Okay, moving on. But that's great because that was that when I would have never placed that unless we were gaming this and talking about it out that like that happened. And,
Totally didn't plan this out.
Yeah, that's why I love like the idea of time being like, here's the thing I need. Okay, bye.
This is awkward.
Yeah.
Pre-ghosting. No, I'm just kidding. There's no ghosting involved. I'm here. Bring it back around.
So wait, so I know about this one thing on her body that maybe other people don't know about. That's all. That's all I learned.
Oh.
Yeah.
You tell me what that is later.
I mean, we're all wondering.
Fish says hot.
Yeah.
Ashleen,
Yes.
give us something else.
Yeah. So, so I kind of touched on what shenanigans me and Ferg are getting into, and
Right.
Time and Keth are getting into, and I think Keth would be really interested in. I mean, he took a lot of like really hefty hits, like adventuring with these fools so far, and he realizes that maybe if he can do some better damage from like a distance.
Oh, by the way, when you're thinking about that, your hand kind of instinctively still goes to a scar that was left on your leg, like a
from when I
burn
got-
from Lumia.
Yeah.
Yeah, she like seared her hand into your leg.
I remember
That's
that.
still there. You can actually still feel it.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, seriously, like I have some other interesting scars from our travels. Namely some weird burn scars from that time that I got gassed by a fake dream dragon. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. I would like to work on my long game a little bit, if that makes any sense. And I would like to talk to Theron, actually, about maybe learning how to, like, poison my darts in, like, a safe way. So I'm not going to poison myself, but so I can, like, have, like, maybe some of them, like, pre-applied or whatever, all of them pre-applied, like,
Right.
just on me so they do a little bit of extra damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's definitely something that you can help out with.
Mm-hmm.
So what, I mean, I'm not even gonna like really require a roll. Here's what I will do. So one of you, doesn't matter who, you guys can decide. Roll a D100.
Oh, you do it.
And that's how many applications of this very specific poison that you get from a very I don't know, you can make it up, but it's a very specific. Actually, you know what? You don't get to make it up. I wrote these things down for a reason.
Oh, do you know?
No, you're rolling. He's making up the mushroom that we're getting. So you're getting how many doses of this poison?
I'm
again
rolling
right now?
times dice, so it's going to be good.
It's time.
It's time.
90. You're welcome.
So,
Thank you.
So ultimately,
I was like, this could be like 10.
within a matter of
good.
I would say like
That's amazing.
this is a long portion of time.
Yeah.
Like we're talking like 6 months.
Huh? That was kind of a right.
You
We missed a lot of time puns, frankly, in the last few minutes. We got to make up for it.
you find a specific mushroom called and it's something that you actually have to like mix up and kind of like, I don't know, do a little alchemy work with. Ultimately it's called the cockatrice cordyceps.
Why do you keep saying these things I can't
You
say?
said cordyceps.
That one's even harder than the last one. Can you
Cockatrice.
please repeat that?
The cockatrice? You know, like the weird chicken monster that turns you to stone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cockatrice.
The cockatrice cordyceps.
Cockshroom.
Cockshroom.
No, cockshroom is no.
There's different.
Yeah.
I like that look. Of course, there is.
What does it do?
There's a whole genus of mushrooms called phallus.
So the more and more you introduce this specific
Slightly
cordyceps
changed the way
into
your
a
wound closure
creature's
period
blood,
looks
if
like
of course
versus
they're
the
not
book, by the
immune
way.
to poison or
This
whatever,
is like, cute.
it'll
I think you like your stone better.
begin to
like it.
it'll begin to actually travel in their blood and go straight to their brain,
Yeah.
Cool.
and then begin to grow this fungus in their brain.
Does it make them go crazy and climb a tree and the thing explodes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So is that in the world?
So it specifically
Terrifying.
travels up their I said blood, I apologize. It travels up their nerve endings straight to their through their spinal cord. And then once it gets to their brain, it just expands rapidly. But you would have to add a very significant amount into the blood in order for it to do that, like rapidly. ultimately, on a statistical level, what it does is it's a poison. It's a DC 11 Constitution save, and the target takes 3d6 poison damage, or half that if they make the save.
What was it?
3d6 poison damage, or half of that if they make the save.
Wow, you guys should split that. Just saying.
Yeah. Do you want 45 of those for your arrows?
Well, you're with me. I can just
No, but like we have 90 doses of it, right? So like if you want to write down half on your sheet, I can write down half on my sheet.
Yeah,
we
let's
could
do
both
it.
have poison.
Here's the catch.
Okay.
You can
There's a catch.
only have, basically, you can basically apply this poison to your weapons, but it will only last basically 1 day before it wears.
Okay. So you can do it as like a pre-application to like fighting.
Well,
and a pre-application takes it basically takes like 1 full round per ammunition that you're applying, because you have to be really careful or else you'll poison yourself.
I have a good
Could we, like
mechanism for that, though.
Okay. You got a thing?
No, I was gonna remind Shanna of the thing, but
I
Shanna's got
designed
the
something
Mm-hmm.
for the poison applique.
Right. And so can you
It's very
describe
quick.
Can you describe what it is?
So it's like a smooth wooden vial that the poison's all on the inside.
Yeah.
And then you feed the dart tip through the vial, and there's all these brushes going the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So that when you pull it out, it like very finely, there's like several layers of it.
Yeah.
It like scrapes off the rest of the poison except for like the tip.
Okay.
It doesn't even need a splash guard because there's like several rounds.
That's, first of all, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And you when did you describe that? You described that like in the past a little bit, right?
And it's, I don't think so,
No.
but it's small.
To us yesterday,
You can wear
that's
it on
all.
your belt. You can wear it on your person. It's tiny. I mean, it's got all of the doses in there. Like, it's like not good. Don't want to get in your eye.
Yeah.
but it's designed
All the doses
in such
in
a
your
way
eye.
that once you seal the vial, there's no opening it. Like, it's like there's no way
unless it breaks.
unless it breaks.
And it's wooden.
And it's
so,
wooden.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna say. It's still gonna be the same time to sort of like apply the ammunition. There's just no possibility of poisoning yourself.
Oh yeah.
So it's gonna
it's
basically
one turn to-
round. Yeah,
one round.
because you basically have to put it in and kind of move it around and then pull it out.
But
And
if we
dip,
know we're
twist,
getting
pull.
into a fight, we could theoretically dip some in and because it lasts for a day.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
prep a few. Yeah.
Right, but
Yeah.
if you like surprise fights is where you'd have to be like, do I want to use an action? Is this worth it?
So we both have
always just have-
45 doses.
Yeah.
45
basically.
doses.
So what I need from you, and this is going to be completely up to you, is I need like essentially every day, if you want to apply a few pieces of ammunition, you have to tell me. If you don't, there is no retconning. Like you just simply didn't do it,
Okay.
and then you have to do it in the
we
moment.
do
and
it?
We'll do it.
I feel like I'll do it before we start. Like if I know I'm gonna
Yeah.
like, go into a situation,
Save it
like-
for like
It's-
planned battles.
I'm literally going to put it on you every single time.
Yeah, that's fair.
This is going to be
But-
like you needed to say it.
Can it be like like when you're, it's like when you're like readying for initiative or whatever, like what are you doing before we start or whatever? Like usually
If
say
you've
that.
got a
If
few
you
minutes.
have that opportunity, for sure.
Yeah.
But sometimes I say roll initiative and there's no opportunity.
Right.
It's
Okay.
just like you're in the thick of things and all of a sudden, whoa, we're in combat.
But it doesn't take like forever to, like it's like if we're venturing somewhere and you're like, what are you guys doing? And it's like I prepared a few arrows.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But again, that's going to be on
Yeah.
both of you singularly to
Okay.
let me know that. I am never going to ask you that.
Okay.
Cool.
I do. It's a kind
On the
of
whole
good
darts
day
thing?
for I don't know, whatever I was going
Oh,
to say.
sorry.
What?
On the whole darts
Mhm.
thing, I was just wondering if there's a way that I can like make more belt loops or something to hold more than 10. Like, can I hold like 50? Something or...
Vest.
Yeah, I think 10's good.
Poison dart vest.
And when you say
If you wear any more than 10, it's going to hamper your movement.
Okay.
when it says DC, when the DC 11 is like you have to you have to roll higher than 11.
Bill
yeah.
does. So
yeah,
whatever you
I would
Got
roll
it.
a con save for my foes.
Oh, okay.
And if I roll over 11 or over, I save,
If you
and I
under-
take
got it.
half that damage.
Basically, it's a 50-50 whether
So
you're going to
I'm
do
always-
half
Still
damage or
take
full
half the
damage.
damage.
I'm always going to take half the damage. That is, of course, unless
that's a lot of
the
damage.
creature is immune to poison.
Yeah.
If
Got
the
it.
creature is immune to poison or resistant to poison, that's a whole other bag. But
Right.
essentially, that's the only other way. Anyway, so
Cool.
So, and yeah, absolutely. You you work with Feyren to sort of like, gather that certain sort of fungi and then do your little your working your magic of alchemy and maybe you have a few questions for time here and there, but like ultimately like you've successfully made the cockatrice cordyceps.
Cockatrice. What is that?
Sorry, that name's made me laugh.
I love you. Berg, give me. Sorry. What you got?
I mean, I went over all the things that I really wanted to do, so now it's just gonna be like learning flint knapping and like making this sword.
Okay. Yeah.
I figure first I'll like learn how to make myself a stone knife.
Well, let's see.
Start
Got
with-
years to learn.
How do you want to? I have a few ideas, but how do you want to figure out how if you have successfully maintained your blade throughout this whole time? Because it's in massive danger of rotting away.
How like would Ferg realize that at a certain point the corrosion is going to outpace the cleaning? Like, can I make an intelligence check for that?
You will. You don't need to make an intelligence check. It is getting more and more difficult. So I had the idea of rolling 3 checks, each one more difficult in like the span of 5 years, and if you get 2 out of 3, then your blade takes some wear and tear, but ultimately like you maintain it to the point where it's still functional. As opposed to if you just succeed on 1 and not the other 2, then your blade.
I feel like Ferg is smart enough and knows that there are enough resources within the Blackfangs that it is a better bet to let the red pencil go and make a new weapon.
Okay.
Like
R.I.P. Red Pencil.
sometimes you can't hang on to things. I mean, we're basically making the same thing out of stone.
And replace that. So, okay, what are we going to call this one? Stone Pencil?
Yes.
Done.
Sorry.
But then we're also gonna have to like
Felt
that
too
means
excited.
Sensible chuckle.
the iron tome is also gonna like rot away, so we're gonna have to like making something else that's similar to that.
So the new blade, while it's going to definitely be immune to any sort of like metal rot or metal like algae or whatever we're gonna call it, and while it's functional and it's sharp and everything like that, it is made of stone, and there is the chance of it like getting damaged to the point of like being unusable.
Yeah, it's stone and wood. I
So,
would expect that.
When you roll a 1 in combat,
Would you?
we will discuss what happens with the blade.
Okay, so
But I'm just letting you know, when a 1 happens, not going to be good for
That's
your
actually
blade.
really good for being reckless because you're like it's way less likely you're going to get once.
yeah. But so I eventually learn enough stone knapping to
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Um
Again, like you said, you're determined, you're fastidious, you're OCD, and you're hyper intelligent. I think all of those things basically amount to you creating a very, very well made and functional, stone toothed sword.
Yeah.
the stone pencil. Can I make a glass knife as well, since
Game of Thrones just happened.
Dragon glass?
Well, I mean,
glass.
these blades are going to have to be. Oh.
I mean, I guess we have that glass that you burned the mushroom. I don't know.
No, that would not be. No, we're talking like. I think the orcs would know better than to use obsidian and would go straight up for jade, which holds a pretty good edge.
Mm-hmm.
But can I also make a stone knife?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then iron tome.
Guys, we're gonna come out of the bush eventually, just like covered in crazy like stories and shit.
Yes.
The stone pen.
And
Webbed gloves.
And it's only been 3 days.
Oh my god, we're only 3 days.
I need more time to think about
Really?
what we're gonna
Is that what
replace
it's like?
iron
We
tome
don't
with.
know.
So
No, I don't know.
I'll get to that on our next
Got
one.
Maybe.
Well,
Tell me about that staff. that I
okay.
have.
So the first thing you need to know about the staff
What
that
up with your staff?
that Keth actually makes it abundantly clear
Mhm.
is that it is an ironback relic and it is not yours.
Mhm. Can I borrow it from time to time?
Who are you asking?
It's
I like to
not
study
mine to allow you to borrow, but you can ask for Mulg. She might be able to grant you that boon.
I like
well,
to study it.
you know that Romulg is Blackfang. She can't make that decision either.
We'll have to go to the Ironbacks if you want permission.
Yeah, I like to study it from time to time. Perhaps if we need it for something.
Well, would you like to go ask?
Yes.
All right. Time and Keth go on a mini adventure to ask Ironbacks.
All right. So,
What's it called again? Staff of or
Staff of Dreams.
Dream about it.
I mean, hopefully, yeah, no, we do. I mean, we recovered it for him, so that's got to count for something.
Hell yeah.
So, it would maybe surprise you, maybe not, to learn that your reputation has traveled to the Ironbacks.
Minor times.
Both of yours.
Oh, okay.
As a matter of
You may
fact,
have heard of me.
your party, I mean, like you're known as you're known as the Blackfang Outsiders, and
That hurts a little, but okay.
and the person that actually spread your tale was none other than Michelle.
Thanks, Daniel.
Wait. Hang on. Is Michelle a Moonjaw or an Ironback?
I can tell you. I took a note.
Because
I think
I
it's Moonjaw.
think last week we were saying that the
Michelle's a
Staff of
Moonjaw.
Dreams was a
Moonjaw.
Moonjaw.
Wait, what are you saying Moonjaw about?
The show is part of the Moonjaw tribe.
Got it. And
I think last week you were saying the Staff of Dreams was Michelle. I just really that
You-
just like popped into my
you
head.
are
And
absolutely right. And honestly, like, take everything that I just said, and it's the same thing,
Just replace
except it's the
Moonjaw.
Moonjaw. And I
Yeah.
totally apologize.
No,
Moonjaw.
So
Yeah,
you
Moonjaw.
are at the Moonjaw tribe, and you are known as the Blackfang Outsiders.
Cool.
And the person again who has spread your tale is none other than Michelle.
He liked us.
Oddly
What does
enough,
that mean?
Michelle is not
Spread your tail.
not really seen in the
Sorry.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. No, like
No, I get
told
it.
our story.
I get
but
it.
The way you reacted to that. Sorry.
I thought it was like
I'm
a
focused, Bill.
orc thing.
Yes, we have tails.
Spread your tail.
Sorry.
Spread your tail for me.
I mean, it could have been anything. I really thought about it like that.
keep eating your shit.
No big deal.
No big deal. Just spread your tail.
Just doing it into the mic.
Oh my god. Rowan's gonna hear that and be like,
She's probably wearing headphones.
okay, so you guys are at the Moonjaws,
Yes.
and you bring the staff in, and you're getting all these wide-eyed looks of just sort of like wonder, and surprise, and and you know, and again, like you get a lot of the same kind of looks that you first got when you entered the Blackfang tribe, although these are a little bit more relaxed. You know, it's just they're just not used to having like a full blown human.
But if they've heard of us, they know that that time has had the ceremony.
That's very true.
Yeah,
that's very true.
Did we get tattoos?
And
well, you didn't.
Not these, but different ones.
That's up to you, I guess.
A small child, resplendent in I don't know, rather intimidating, like face paint and adornment. You know, complete with septum piercing and like sharp, like sticks that stick through like large puncture piercings in their ears, and wears kind of a head mask that would that's sort of almost eagle like. She comes up again. We're talking like, oh gosh, like 9 years old maybe, and she says, "Greetings, brother.
Greetings.
We see you have one of our relics, and we thank you for bringing it to us safely. It was stolen from us. We can only assume that you've come to return it. Is this not true?"
In part, yes, to return it.
In part? What does that mean?
We would also like to talk to you and learn more about it. Start. Seems like a...
To what end?
Well, that's... If you allow my friend here, she's been practicing on her orcish and quite adept at it at this point, to discuss this with you.
I sit down and get lower than the child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her face looks like a Parisian, like enduring someone not speaking really good French.
Rude.
Hey, it's a thing.
I mean, that's fine.
And but so she kind of like rolls her eyes, you know, and she's just waiting.
So like, yeah, I bow down. I sit and get below like the height of the child to show the orcish respect.
Yeah.
Because I'm real big, and even the kid's probably like I don't know.
Probably still shorter than you, for a 9-year-old.
Probably.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Definitely.
For an orcish child, she's tinier than they usually are.
Yeah.
And by the way, she's wearing all of the face paints that would tell you that she is the tribal champion.
Interesting. I like that.
Hardcore.
Mm-hmm. So in my best orcish, I say, honored champion. We mean only your tribe the most respect. We have brought back this relic to you after a hard-fought battle to reclaim it. I honorably request the chance to honor this object, its history, its present, and its future. And I would like the opportunity to study it and learn more about it so that I may be part of its story.
She walks up to you, and she's practically like eye to eye with you as you're sitting you're sitting down. And she looks at you and she cocks her head. Goes, grabs it from you. Unless you read, of course.
Nope.
She goes,
I'm holding it out, step line for her.
"Request denied, friend." And then she walks away. And as she's walking away, she says in Orc, "Make sure they're fed before they leave."
Moonjaw, don't. I say this to you in common. Moonjaw, don't take kind of outsiders quietly, even of the orcish kind.
Gotcha. She's like, there is an understandable amount of prejudice to go around. It was worthy of our efforts.
So go ahead and let's see. Okay, so
You've earned some respect from them, though. brought them back to them.
Almost in stark contrast. After this unbearable amount of silence that happens probably maybe a minute after that ordeal just occurred, there are a lot of tribesmen that actually come up to you, some of which actually help you up from seated position, and they actually regale you and commend you and show and tell you how much respect they have for you, that you went up against a green dragon, even though, if the rumors are true, you didn't actually fight one. But the fact that you were willing to do that is it kind of blows their mind. And there's an immense amount of respect and admiration for you around the entire, basically in the entire village of the Moonjaws.
The dragon that was closest to them, right?
Correct.
Oh, that's right.
Save these people, no big deal.
You're welcome. That's awesome. I kind of want to. I'll take this opportunity and that level of camaraderie from them. Perhaps also if we're spending a little bit of time before we go, hang out with them a little more about this element of it, work on a different dialect of Orcish, slightly different dialect of Orcish. But also I want to know more about their magics, because apparently if they've got a relic like the staff, perhaps they've got, a little more on the arcane side of magics while I'm here. Maybe I'm making assumptions on that, but using this to kind of thematically expand Time's knowledge of magic, dive deeper through that in shrooms, level up for me basically in the third level. Right. And slash if at any time during these 5 years too, I'm also looking for any level of arcane lore and knowledge I can piece together to basically add to my spell book a bit too, apart from just a leveling up, if I can find any spells I can transcribe or something like that over the 5 years, but not super stressed about that, but because I don't know for people who have wizards, right? But
well, you find, unfortunately, their magic still doesn't necessarily match the type of magic that Time practices. As a matter of fact, you know that even your types of magic, they don't necessarily look upon favorably. Yeah, I know, right? That said, what you know they really respect is the shaping and polymorphing into different animals, and also the channeling of totems. And and so they very much in their mind, if there's someone in this world that can become one with any sort of animal, then they can live their life seeing from a different perspective that humanoids cannot. And as a matter of fact, they tell the story of this current tribal champion, and her name is Faye, Fahay, and the story was told that when the challenge was accepted by this at the time 9-year-old to the current tribal champion, that Faye had mastered the art of shapeshifting into an eagle, and the way the challenges work essentially is that as long as the two challengers don't leave a certain area, that kind of anything can happen. And so Faye essentially shapeshifted into an eagle and actually flew around, perched on high branched trees, and basically waited the champion out until the champion starved or was close to. And then when they were weak enough, they went straight to their eyes, took out their eyes, and then waited even longer until the champion just tapped out and gave up. and this person actually is still alive to this day. They live in the Moonjaw tribe, and so and that's how Faye won the mantle of tribal champion, and has since mastered a great many other wild shapes.
Interesting. I make an argument that at some point Keth seeks out this blind former champion as a mentor and guide / kung fu master who teaches you something. Sure. Now that their eyesight, they've had to compensate over time. Just throwing it out there. That seems real poetic.
I'm down.
Totally open to that.
They have like a whole scene where like we talk about like listening, and he talks about how like basically he can kind of like see with his feet like Toph, but the mycelians show him.
Oh, Toph.
All right.
Wait, say that again.
Can't do it.
Say that again. I'm sorry, I missed it.
Oh, I said we have like this whole moment where we talk about listening. And he explains how he can basically like see with his kind of like Toph status, but the mycelians show him not like.
Interesting.
Avatar less.
Like it.
So, short and sweet. That's your sort of like encounter among the Moonjaw people.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
And ultimately, on a meta sense, like what you have actually accomplished is so it's been I don't know how much time passed between the time that you retrieved the staff from the kobold and that moment, if you would put a time to it.
I don't imagine it'd be very long, because I feel like returning, because you were very aware that it was a relic, and certainly like, oh god,
and that I was like, if you want to use it, you have to ask permission. So
yeah, absolutely. Like
as soon as it's like plausible,
I imagine that would have been pretty quick. Like we came in, we had to like settle back in and sort of get set up. I think at the village and sort of establish ourselves for like a week or two.
We definitely had already done the ceremony.
Yeah, I would say within the first month.
Yeah, I would say, because we gotta heal up from our trekking through the forest to get there to begin with, and then we're gonna have to trek back, again,
essentially.
So yeah, I think within a month, one of the one of the orbits of like the third moon out.
Okay. Yeah. So ultimately, I don't know. Faye didn't leave you with much to go off of, but ultimately you've gained a whole hell of a lot of respect from the Moonjaws that you actually like followed through, brought this relic back to them. It's only later that you hear from a few folks back in Kos that there was rumors of sort of a tribal embarrassment among the Moonjaw because this relic was lifted from their town, their village, by that stupid ass fucking wink kobold. And that is unheard of, especially with all of the hallucinatory terrain that are sort of like cast inside of the somehow that kobold was either incredibly wily and intelligent, or just got really, really lucky. And what that really amounted to was, as far as the Blackfang are concerned, is that the Moonjaw are kind of the laughing stock right now because they lost that relic to a kobold. That's embarrassing.
That is fucking embarrassing.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if you remember
especially
this, but the last
we just like annihilated that kobold.
Yeah, and the last session. Well, but they only realized that it was stolen by a kobold after you had defeated it, because they had thought that it had gotten stolen by a green dragon. So they were, and even still they were embarrassed about that. So anyway, there's that. So let's see. Let me look to a few things here. So time. You spend a lot of time researching the riddle of the spiral and the disc. So
Also that dagger eventually, but
I want to hear a little bit more. Yeah, I want to hear a little bit more about the spiral and the disc research. And
that's exactly what I want to know, Bill.
Yeah.
I'd say like it's part arcane slash like science and part spiritual exploration or magical exploration in terms of like Time's other interest of like trying to connect back to the universe, right?
Yeah.
Because she feels like she made a connection and had that moment in like, you know, the sweat lodge, the ceremony room, whatever it was, like the yurt, right? Yeah. Where I was tripped balls and took peyote. Just saying. Yeah, there you go, ayahuasca. And so like she wants to, you know, spend time with the elders, if they'll permit, like exploring these things, trying to like connect magically through those methods. To try and like glean whatever information she can from the Mycelian tribes, like learning about them through this process. Yeah. And like use that to kind of guide and back and forth, like inform each other, right? So she like has these experiences and then she rests and then she's in the lab with the alchemist and is like trying to take whatever clues she can, arcane research through the library with Ferg, like whatever books, possibly sending like Keth and others out into the world to try and find particular resources. Combined with then, okay, now I've got new places to work from. I have more directed questions to try and bring back in like the quest, right? Like the visions with the Mycelian to like then bring back and research more. So it's like this constantly stacking, non-linear, which maybe works with the Mycelian really well, kind of experience. Right?
Interesting. So there's first of all, there are a lot of tribes that you become aware of and make contact with, some of which you actually need Farron's help because of the fact that Farron can actually very easily, through imbibing a few of just a little bit of a nibble, actually speak directly to the mycelium. And it's risky business because honestly, this is what you're now finding through these experiments is that trying to directly communicate to the mycelian is an effort in futility. Not quite futility. How about insanity?
Oh, okay.
They just don't speak like you all. And when they actually try to, and you try to understand them, it's mind-bendingly horrifying.
I remember something we brainstormed yesterday, which was that, and this is also like sidebar, like what or just like whatever y'all allow. But we specifically talked about Farron working on cultivating like a mycelian tincture, whatever, that helped you with psychic damage. With our listening. So like with like because we felt like this would probably involve a lot of this psychic damage.
Here, kid, this will take the edge off.
and so like yesterday we like specifically talked as a group about like how like Farron should be working on like, you know, aids for focus, aids for healing, and aids for psychic damage.
Right.
And poison.
Okay, so to kind of just piggyback right off of that, I am gonna say that because we're kind of focused on like Time's research, I'm gonna say that you used these tinctures on Time as kind of a guinea pig. Cool. And Time's usually pretty cool with this.
Always.
I mean, I can usually tell whether it's going to be really bad or not.
Yeah, I need you to make a... what do I need you to make?
Would my portent ability help with this? Roll it a while back, but you can say no, that's also fine. This is happening over such a long period.
First of all, I would have you re-roll your portents right now.
Cool.
And then you can decide whether or not you want to use them. But I will say that you're making a wisdom saving throw.
Cool. I'm definitely not going to use those.
I mean, you know.
You rolled it on the DM's guide. That's just bad luck.
You just made that up.
No, that's true.
See? Yeah. Bad luck.
Xanathar's,
like asking for
good luck. No, I'll take those other ones.
It's only good luck for the DM.
Wiz save?
Or Matt.
Wiz save.
Or Matt.
10.
Hi, Matt.
How's it going, Matt? We love you.
Thanks for saving the day.
So you got a 10?
10.
Got it. So okay. Let's see.
What I feel like the consequences of this would be, like, it's bad, I might,
You don't know.
use an inspiration.
Yeah, you'd have to say it right now.
Do I succeed or not? So we can find out whether I would or succeed or not.
But you do not succeed, no.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to use an inspiration then.
Okay.
I feel like, taking psychic, potion damage, whatever, tripping out might make extra worse on time. 23.
Okay.
22.
So you find a way to channel yourself a little bit more proficiently through the maze of communication that you're now experiencing. Maybe it was Farron's tincture. Maybe it wasn't. There's really no way to tell in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But first of all, you're kind of bombarded over. I mean, okay, there's a lot. It's funny because you're doing all this information, or you're doing all this research non-linearly.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of going to give you some of it non-linearly.
Cool. It's fine, actually, a lot.
The Auriculara tribe.
That thing, where I have that in the book.
The Auriculara tribe.
Spell that.
You can spell
it.
You're tripping out. I'm not going to spell shit. This tribe is not... You can tell that other tribes don't like them. They're not looked upon favorably. They flourish on anything that rots. As a matter of fact, they seek it out voraciously. And one of the things that they sort of seek out is to feed on something until their fruiting masses are so large and jelly-like that they can choose to destroy themselves by exploding into like some kind of a cone of acid.
Okay.
They know that by killing itself, they're actually like spreading themselves, thereby living forever.
Terrible.
The
Poetic.
Yeah. So
Does it feel weird?
about as difficult for me as time's thought process. So give me a second.
Tell me about it.
Right? Exactly.
Something happening.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can in this research and in some of these sort of imbibing experiments, you actually feel the pressure that the mycelium were talking about in the original communication with Farron. That pressure on both sides. And one of the sides you realize is a very dark, a dark feeling. It's basically the feeling of like ravenous consumption, as if eating and eating and eating, but never really feeling satiated or full. And you realize that you're getting that energy flow through the Cantharella tribe, which is strange because the Cantharella tribe is supposed to be quite benevolent.
Yeah.
And then what you realize is happening over another, like, we're talking like 6 months, and it took a really long time for you to like land on this, is that the Cantharella tribe is they're repelling something. They're holding something at bay. And it's creating a barrier. Like some kind of like unseen veil. And what's creating the veil, imagine imagine using pure strength to hold something back.
Mm-hmm.
But now imagine that instead of pure strength, you are actually taking what's coming at you and using their momentum to slingshot them around and then back the way they came. Sort of like a, wrestling versus jiu-jitsu sort of a philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
You realize that the Cantharella tribe is taking whatever this energy is and absorbing it into their network, their tribe, and then slingshotting it back out. Which is why you think that you guys all got sick when you ate those very simple, very healthy, very commonly...
So is the thing that's invading it that other mushroom tribe?
No.
But they're acting like
it's something else.
But it's something
They're
else.
acting like the other one.
The other thing you get is that other tribe of mushrooms has already been thoroughly corrupted. And that they're sort of
talking to the orcs.
One more time.
The one that was that reached out to the orcs is the one that's been corrupted. I can't say the name. I got this.
No, the auricular, right?
No,
or the auricular.
It would be the
Corticeala?
The Corticeala.
That one.
Note
the one I
taker.
can't say.
Look at me, guys.
Well, remember, they weren't reaching out to the orcs as much as the orcs were casting certain divination spells, and the Corticeala was showing up like a tarot card.
Oh, right.
And it was.
They weren't giving them a message.
Yes,
but it was implying.
It was it was influencing their decisions because the Corticeala tribe inside of their divinations has only showed up twice in their history. So, back to what I was saying, the Corticeala tribe, feel like you've come across them once, and that they were inside of those like blighty sort of tree branch creatures, and the Cantharella tribe is now you kind of understand that sort of like when I described them earlier, the feeling of beat down benevolence. They're just tired. They've been redirecting this energy for so long. And so finally you get to this point in like a year in your research where you're like, what the fuck are they holding back? But then you're still present to like the pressure. Like there's also pressure from like coming from like another side that you're not fully aware of. But you still keep researching, and you come to the idea that whatever they're holding back is thoroughly corrupted and is bent on consumption over all things. The other thing coming from I think at this point, if I want to give you any specifics, I'm gonna allow just one straight up Arcana check. Okay, so the specifics are like what's on one side versus what's on the other. So the energy that they're redirecting, Arcana check. Okay. Feel free to use your portent ability and any inspiration.
Could this be a potential new role for the portent since this is what happening over the course of a year? Just to see what new
good
stuff
question.
is.
Yeah, let's say yes.
I'll roll those over here just to see what's up. Ooh.
So neutral.
I mean that's pretty good. I mean, here's the thing: my Arcana is a 7, so I can get a 21 straight up from that. I mean, that's honestly pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna take that 21.
So there is an invading energy and a darkness, unlike you've ever felt in your life, and you have many, many visions of the past and the future that only could give you the idea that energy is demonic in nature. And the thing that's trying to like break down this barrier is akin to a virus in a way. And the Corticeala tribe has just been directing for very, very, very long time.
So the Corticola tribe is the one doing it, not the Cantarella.
Oh, sorry. Nope. You are
Words.
right.
Notes.
The
notes,
Cantarella.
Notes.
The
The
Cantarella
Corticola
tribe.
tribe has already
Boom.
taken over.
Do you see me? I'm like a totally different player. It's not about me.
No,
Go ahead.
this is great.
Especially yourself.
All about me. All me.
So
Whoa.
so there's that.
Cool.
And
Do I get any sense of what other pressure is there? That
that's another roll.
right? Cool. How about a 19?
No, you
Okay.
don't.
Oh, 20. 13 plus 7. Sorry, not 21. 20?
Yes, you do.
Sorry, I mathed wrong.
Yeah, math wrong.
My stone good luck. Those are done for now.
The energy that you understand is the energy of pure, unadulterated change and evolution.
Wait, not evolution.
Mm.
No, definitely not.
Change,
Change and evolution. Interesting.
That's the
Okay.
energy that's felt.
There's
Yeah.
like the demons and change and evolution, or demonic energy and change and evolution that is sort of like sandwiching the camp.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And like in your mind's eye, the sort of mention of the spiral seems to be happening not on the demonic side.
Mm-hmm.
The evolution side is a spiral.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Remember that whirlwind, that
Yeah.
maelstrom that I described that was
Yeah.
instead kind of funneling up?
Yeah. Thing. A disc. Well, not okay, but interesting.
But they're both pushing in.
They're both pushing in. And then the last thing that you get out of this research is that in the middle of all of this, there is some kind of a rotten cyst
Ooh.
that exists somewhere inside of the Kashar Forest that is attempting to affect that balance.
Guys, we gotta pop this cyst. Extract.
Yeah.
Extract.
And your knowledge of that specific sort of almost like
Maybe a quarter kraken in there.
a tumor of a sort,
Mm-hmm.
Corner kraken.
that this cyst
Exact.
has things working to its benefit.
Mm.
There are eyes everywhere.
Reckon exact. Definitely.
Guys, there's something bigger going here.
So this is what your research reveals.
Thank you for researching.
You're welcome. Funny you say that because you're basically the person that time comes to, because she's kind of like, this has rocked her pretty hard, and kind of she just like goes like to sit next to you for comfort. Like she just like
That's cool.
sits back to back.
I'll just comfort you as friends. It's fine.
Shut up, Fisher.
That's funny.
Sometimes
I'm
comfort is
completely
friends.
I'm completely
Just
satisfied in this moment.
Fine.
live in the moment. It's all cat right
Did time just say that?
now.
Live in the moment. It's all we have right now. Really?
You know it's bad.
Wow.
When time's like, no, all we have is right now.
Yeah.
And you're like, I jumped your bones.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I roll for charisma.
So well, I want to know. Okay, so aside from like sexual tension,
Mm-hmm.
are you communicating any of your findings to Farron?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Farron, I would like
Farron's such a good
I
note
would like
taker.
you to roll a knowledge nature check.
Okay.
And hold on a second. I'm thinking here because of your favorite enemy being plants.
Yes.
I would like you to roll at advantage.
Fucking hate.
Oh.
I fucking hate and love plants.
Sweet.
You hate light.
So I add -2. 10.
Your nature is a -2.
Yeah.
There you go.
Damn.
I don't know.
That's intelligence.
It's
'cause it's
The wisdom's
intelligent.
good.
Yeah.
So
Just wait until I
will
need
say
those
that on an
athletic checks, though,
instinctual
now.
level, I will say that on an instinctual level, Faerun, somehow you don't have the verbiage as to why, but you somehow in your gut understand that the Cantharella tribe, if they're redirecting this energy along the border of the Kashar, and it's creating so much like really intense repulsion, you think that has something to do with why you can't leave the Kashar.
Up the cyst, yo.
So in effect, like keeping something out, unfortunately, has the unintended consequences of keeping certain things.
Yeah.
Cause and
See, the
effect.
thing about Farron is not so smart on the intelligence level, but he like feels
Wisdom.
what he needs to. So that's why he's like fully immersed, but isn't necessarily like writing a lot of stuff down, you know? Just like living knowledge. So
That's fair.
so yeah, so you're
Live and
saying he
learn.
kind of feels that connect.
When I was in Mexico and we went on a little bit of a nature romp, and one of our guys amongst the nonprofit, they hired this guide, this ranger that would go with us, and this was a bird watching extravaganza that we went on. So we were with the intention of like going and like actually spotting certain birds. And quite frankly, it was super fruitless for me personally, because I didn't really know what to look for and this and that. But this guy kind of reminds me of Faerun in the sense that he was just so quiet the whole time. And he could speak a little English, but he was so quiet the whole time. But everything that he said, like, really counted, really mattered. And I was like, everything he said, I was like, oh, But anyway, that's kind of what it's reminding me of in real time.
I
So
would like that.
That.
we have a few more minutes. Does anybody want to end the session on anything in particular?
Only small little piece I want to piggyback on. You're taking a message out of the forest at some point to like communicate to.
That's going to be really, really simple. Do you actually try to do that?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. So what I need.
Did you want me to do something for you too, though, before we go there?
And
if you can get a message out, try and get something like to my brother or send something out to
Okay.
And you're letting my shop know that I'm alive and I'm in the
Essentially,
Kashar
yeah.
Forest.
I'm just gonna let
Cool.
people know that you're just trapped.
Yes.
So there are 3 things that I need from you, and you need to succeed on 2 of them in order for this to actually happen.
All right.
Okay.
Hit me.
Whoa.
You can do them in any order.
Okay.
But
That was probably an amazing sound.
there
close to that.
is an insight check rolled.
Okay.
There's a persuasion check rolled, and then there's just a straight intelligence check rolled. So
Not
the
good at
idea
any of these
is that you're basically using your intellect as to like, okay, like using like time sort of like instructions and directions as to like how to find his brother or how to find a group of people that that potentially would know his brother, right? Then there's the insight check of who's the right person to talk to about this. And then there's the persuasion check of how to convince that person to deliver the message. Because this is not necessarily like, an easy message to deliver.
No, definitely. Like yours is just a stone. I'm just gonna like send the message. For you, it's a little bit harder because
So-
I'd have to find someone to actually go talk to your brother.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the stone, I'm going to say like whatever message you give Kat the sending stone. Is that what I just heard?
Well,
Oh, wasn't that what the?
Yeah.
I thought the sending stone doesn't work.
Not inside the forest,
Sure.
but outside the forest.
No, yeah,
Oh.
right. I was just my plan was to get to a
We're-
point
So,
where I could
like,
just
I-
because then they would
Dead
think it
zone.
was you, and I don't have to persuade anybody
I, like,
anything.
You have no bars.
Give it a message, essentially, so that when it's outside of the Kashar.
It like goes through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a persuasion.
You can go
an
in
insight?
any order. Straight intelligence roll, insight roll, persuasion roll.
All right, insight. 14.
Do you want
Okay.
the message
Persuasion?
to your
Yep.
brother to be
5.
Okay.
And intelligence.
Yep.
We'll find out.
14.
Ooh, 14.
Weird that I just know all my rolls right now. Like I didn't have to check, but I know those are all right.
Proud of you.
So essentially, you get outside of the Kashar Forest, and where would you say you would wind up? I personally think that it would be private.
I mean, I think Kef would rather go, because the only two places he knows are Falstein and Rosax. I think he'd rather go out somewhere around Rosax and Falstein, if that was plausible.
Well, you also only need to get outside the border.
Well, I have to find somebody to talk to.
Instead, you actually end up getting to Vorheim,
which is where you're from, so that's good.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah. Right, isn't that where you're from?
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
So, Taving Kabuki is where we went to.
That's where you went to
school,
university.
but home was Vorheim. So
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
So here's the thing: I'm going to spend the next couple weeks, and I will write something as to like who you contacted and how that all went down. You failed your persuasion check, though, did you not?
Pretty sure.
I failed the persuasion, but I got 2 14s on the other ones.
Totally. Okay. So,
it's not charismatic.
Yeah, two of 3.
Does the sending stone have bars?
Yeah, did the message go through?
The message went through.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a pretty easy one.
Your peeps know your
I believe you had to attune to that. No, it's not into it. Oh,
nope.
Great. Well, then even easier.
It just pairs with the other stone.
You deliver the message. What was the message?
The message was.
And how many words can you use in the sending stone?
The tweet. Let me check real fast.
Yeah,
it's like a reasonable amount. You can have a relatively detailed message. It's not a what? Yeah, it's a tweet.
I can never tell if Fisher is trolling me.
Yeah, thanks. That's what you're pointing at, weren't you?
Fisher, I can never tell if you're messing with me. I'm really golden.
Always assume Fisher is messing with you.
I know.
Yeah.
See?
Okay, so while you're looking that up, anything you'd like to leave us with?
So Ferg realizes that the Iron Tome is also not going to make it.
Yeah.
And asks Gopnik, because the books inside of the Iron Tome are like super important to Ferg as a person, and they really respect the Blackfangs and have like this is new family. Asks Gopnik if he would join these books into the body of knowledge of the tribe. And Ferg will like rebind them into an actual like small safe binding.
Given the effort and the help that you've given the tribe in terms of like the organization of their lore, the answer is most definitely yes. There's no way he would say no.
And Berg would also like to be able to craft 2 jade hand axes.
Sick. Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Jade, huh?
Yeah. The Mayans and the Maori both use jade as their stone weapon of choice, and it lasts forever.
Dude, give me Are you a weaponsmith?
No,
so
this is all
2,
like shit we're learning.
Give me 2 intelligence checks. And yeah, we'll go from there.
So that's an 11.
Mm-hmm. Second one.
Because I figure the orcs have some proficiency.
That's 17,
in
I see.
So that is a 19.
Okay. Your one, unfortunately, was a failed prototype, but then you learned from your mistakes and you were able to make a second one.
Sweet.
But that was a very, very long time of like research, planning, gathering the resources, all of that stuff.
Jade is really hard to make into weapons, especially when you only have stone napping and like other stones to work it on. Like,
here's what I'll say. I'll even say that you gathered the jade from somewhere near Craxed, the Orcish capital, And I will say that you got a really fucking weird feeling about that. All I'm gonna say about that.
Okay.
Anything anybody else would like to leave? Anybody?
Do you want to hear the message?
Yeah, I do want to hear the message. Yeah, that's actually what I want to end on.
Trapped in the Kashar. Safe. Execute Plan C. Will return in time. Be excellent to each other.
Villain's head.
That's where we'll wrap up.
Less than 3.
What is their band name? White Stallions?
The Wild Stallions.
The Wild Stallions.
With WYLD Stallions.
Yeah.
You know they're making a sequel of that.
Are they really?
They're making Bill and Ted 3 with the same actors.
It's gonna be
That's gonna be weird because Keanu
amazing.
Reeves hasn't aged at all, but I bet the other guy has.
A lot.
Oh.
I mean, that's rude.
No offense. I mean, Keanu Reeves is a fucking vampire.
Yeah, it's not. It's not talking shit about the other guy. It's talking shit about vampire Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not talking
Soul
shit.
selling.
Vampire Keanu Reeves. We love you. It's fine.
So
You're amazing.
This has
John
been
Wick 3. I'm excited.
a very strange and weird but awesome session. A lot of freedom in the session, and I particularly enjoyed watching you guys run amok. Thank you so much. Thank you to our viewers. Thank you to our contributors on Patreon. If you're not contributing to our Patreon, consider doing $1 a month. It really helps. We appreciate you watching though, and take care. What is it? Just subscribe to all of the things, please. It helps us out immensely. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
And be excellent to each other.
Be excellent to each other. Yeah.
Wah. Get out.
All right. Cool.
Wonk.